You ever wonder why changing a habit can feel like you're literally fighting yourself every single day? Well, it turns out we might be using the completely wrong user manual for our own brains. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating new way to think about self-improvement, and we're borrowing the framework from, of all places, artificial intelligence. So just imagine this for a second. Instead of just grinding it out with sheer willpower, what if you could write a precise set of instructions, a prompt for your brain, and have it generate the exact behaviors and outcomes you want? I know, it sounds a little like science fiction, but it's not. It's a powerful idea called behavioral engineering, and that is exactly what we're exploring today. Now, if you're like most of us, your approach to making a change probably looks a lot like the column on the left, the old way. You just kind of generate an idea. I'm going to work out more, and then you just hope for the best. It's totally exhausting, and the results are unpredictable. The new way flips this whole thing on its head. It's about treating your life like a system you can actually design, engineering your environment and your mindset for consistent, high-fidelity results. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, we're going to use a really powerful framework called the Master Prompt Core. Now, it might sound a little complex, but I want you to think of it simply as the user manual for telling your brain exactly what you want it to create. This slide right here, this is the heart of the entire idea. It's translating that AI speak into human behavior. So let's just walk through it. The subject, that's not just what you do, it's who you want to become. The style is the internal story you tell yourself about a habit. Is it a chore or is it a privilege? Composition, well, that's your physical environment, your desk, your kitchen, your whole setup. Lighting refers to those contextual cues like the time of day that triggers a certain habit. And technical parameters, that's just a fancy way of saying we're going to adjust the difficulty, making good habits super easy and bad habits super hard. Let's just zoom in on that first component, because honestly, it is the most important one. The goal is not, I want to run a marathon. The goal is, I am a runner. See the difference? When your habits are locked in with your desired identity, they become incredibly stable and, frankly, really satisfying. This is the anchor for your whole system. So, we've got the prompt, right? But what's the engine that actually runs it? Well, that's where the habit loop comes in. This is the biological process our brain uses to automate our behavior and save up precious mental energy. This loop is constantly running in the background of our lives. A cue, like your phone buzzing, triggers a craving for a little hit of dopamine. That leads to the response of checking social media, which then delivers the reward of a little distraction. And that reinforces the entire cycle for the next time your phone buzzes. And this is where it all clicks together. Our framework is designed to hack this loop. You want to influence the cue? Change your lighting and atmosphere, make the trigger obvious. You want to influence the craving? Change the style and aesthetics, make the habit attractive. Making it easy or adjusting those technical parameters, that targets the response. And making it satisfying, that aligns the reward directly with your subject, your identity. It's brilliant. And this right here is the crucial insight. You don't actually crave the habit itself. You don't crave smoking a cigarette. You crave the feeling of relief that it gives you. You don't crave scrolling Instagram, you crave the feeling of distraction from whatever you're supposed to be doing. Understanding this is the absolute key to breaking bad habits. Okay, so let's get practical. If our brains are really just responding to prompts from our environment, then the most powerful thing we can possibly do is engineer the source of those prompts. It's time to actually design your default life. The main tool we're going to use for this is friction, basically the amount of effort it takes to do something. And the strategy could not be simpler. For good habits, your job is to make them as effortless as possible. We reduce the friction. For bad habits, you do the exact opposite. You add as much friction as you can. Just look at these examples. Leaving your gym shoes by the bed, that removes that moment of decision-making in the morning. That's friction reduction. Deleting a shopping app from your phone, that forces you to log in on a desktop, a classic case of adding friction. These little tiny changes, they systematically guide your behavior toward the path of least resistance, which you've now designed to be the healthiest path. Here's another really powerful technique for reducing friction. It's called habit stacking. You basically anchor a new habit you want to build onto one you already do without even thinking about it. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. You're hijacking a neural pathway that's already there instead of trying to build a new one from scratch. So much easier. But look, your environment isn't just physical objects. It's also the people in it. And sometimes the biggest source of friction comes from social pressure. So to protect your new system, you have to get good at setting boundaries. The Dear Man technique is a fantastic tool for this. It's basically a script for respectfully stating your needs, like protecting your deep work time, and engineering your social environment for success too. This might be the single most profound insight of this whole system. You can't just delete a bad habit. It doesn't work that way. The neural pathway is still there in your brain. The craving will still pop up. So you have to replace the old routine with a new one that satisfies that same underlying need. This strategy is called finding a FERB. That stands for functionally equivalent replacement behavior. As you can see here, if you stress eat because you need comfort, a 5-minute meditation can give you that same sense of calm. If you doom scroll for anxiety relief, journaling just one thought can give you mental clarity instead. You're not fighting the craving, you're just giving your brain a better, healthier solution to the exact same problem. So you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds like a lot of really small changes. And you'd be right, but that's the secret. The goal isn't some massive transformation overnight. It's about harnessing the incredible power of compounding habits. Just like the slide says, game-changing results come from skillful direction, not from simple desire. It's not about these one-off bursts of motivation that we all have. It's about consistency over intensity. It's about getting just a tiny, tiny bit better every single day. And here is the mathematical payoff. It's incredible. If you can improve by just 1% every day, by the end of 1 year, you won't be 365% better. No, you'll be nearly 37 times better. That is the explosive power of compounding. And this brings us right back to where we started. Each tiny action, each 1% improvement is a vote for the person you want to become. These small habits aren't just things you do. They are the literal building blocks of a new identity. So let's just recap the pillars of this entire approach. First, start with who you want to be. Then, design your environment to make the right choices the easy choices. Replace bad habits, don't just try to eliminate them. Protect your system with clear boundaries. And above all else, focus on those small, compounding daily wins. When you treat your behavior as a system to be engineered, instead of a battle to be won, you take back control. You become the architect of your future self, designing a life that actually supports your highest ambitions with almost no friction. So when you really step back and think about it, your entire life is the cumulative output of all the daily prompts you've been feeding your brain, whether you were conscious of it or not. So the only question left is, now that you know you're the one holding the keyboard, what prompt will you write today?